The flip side is that there were Americans on the ground in Smyrna that had a much more heartfelt and humanitarian position towards what was unfolding in front of their eyes. Asa Jennings is one individual, an American missionary who had gone to Smyrna and had been involved in the American educational institutions there in Smyrna. Asa Jennings, a respectable, faith-centered individual who, regardless of whether how one feels about the presence of missionaries in Asia Minor among Orthodox Christians, he's there supporting educational institutions mainly for orphans. And he is perhaps one of the great heroes of this catastrophe, of the end of the genocide of the Armenian people and certain Greek peoples in Asia Minor.
How can this problem be solved? Well, another amazing thing occurs. Jennings meets a Greek ship captain, the commander of the ship Kilkis. His name was Theofanides. And he works with Jennings to communicate with the Greek government about making use of the Greek shipping. Well, the Greek government is not cooperative. It's fearful that the ships will be seized by the Turks. But Jennings, telling some untruths, making some threats that he didn't really have, he was not in a position to enforce. He made it look like the American Navy was willing to help in this rescue effort and so forth. He managed to bring the Greek government around.
He takes the bull by the horn literally and gets the U.S. government to agree to encourage and to allow the Greek government to send in ships. The Greek government had plenty of ships that they could send into Smyrna, into the bay, and to gather the refugees that are on the quay and that have been there for a week without food, without adequate water, basically crammed in as sardines.
My grandfather went to Captain Theofanides, explained his plight, and Theofanides agreed to help. So my grandfather started writing messages on the stationery of the ship. Then the captain translated those into Greek, and the messages were taken to the radio room where they were put into code and sent to Athens. And first the message came back, well, the prime minister's sleeping, we can't waken him. My grandfather had 7 days. Wake him up, wake him up. So there was delay, and finally the decision came back, no, you cannot have ships. Now my grandfather, in partnership really with Captain Theofanides, blackmailed the Greek government. And the blackmail was, if you don't give us those ships, the next message will not be in code. We will broadcast openly so the whole world will know you, the Greek government, allow the Turks to kill 300,000 Greeks. That's blackmail. So now we have a Methodist minister in the blackmail business. He's already been bribing, now he's going to blackmail.
It was an extraordinary piece of diplomacy or sleight of hand even. At the same time, Halsey Powell, this American commander at Smyrna, is busy negotiating with the Turkish command about finding some way to release the refugees for a rescue effort.
Asa Jennings, along with Halsey Powell, are two of the great heroes of the catastrophe of 1922, the fire and the burning of Smyrna of 1922. As one looks back 100 years ago, and there have been some really good studies, and historians have done a really good job of trying to unearth the events that led up to and the events as they unfolded in Smyrna at this time 100 years ago. It's clear that two Americans stand out who risked their lives, certainly, but even also their reputations to come to the aid of the impoverished, the sick, the parched, the beaten, the psychologically, emotionally damaged people of Smyrna.